I stared at those two pink lines, heart sinking under the weight of what they meant. My wife was pregnant. Only one problem. I'd been sterile for 3 years. Let me rewind. 3 years ago, after our second child was born, Kinda and I agreed. Our family was complete. 2 kids felt just right. She had endured 2 difficult pregnancies, 2 deliveries. It only made sense that I'd step up and take care of the rest. I volunteered for the vasectomy. It was quick, mildly uncomfortable, but manageable. I went through all the post-op protocols, including the follow-up tests, twice. Both confirmed the same thing, 0 sperm count. I was sterile, permanently. Life moved on. We slipped into routine, work, kids, the everyday rhythm of a married life. Kinda seemed content, smiling at school events, texting me reminders, cuddling. With the kids on movie nights, I believed we were solid, comfortable, maybe even a little complacent, but still grounded. Then last Tuesday shattered that illusion. I got home earlier than usual. The Morrison project wrapped up ahead of schedule. The house was quiet, kids still at school, and Kinda's car wasn't in the driveway. I assumed she was out running errands. I headed upstairs to change, and that's when I saw it, sitting casually on the bathroom counter beside her makeup bag, a pregnancy test, 2 unmistakably bold pink lines. At first, I didn't jump to suspicion. I was confused, deeply confused. I picked up the test, turned it over, checked the expiration date. Maybe it was old, faulty, but it was brand new, fresh, the plastic still warm from her touch. I sat down on the edge of our bed, staring at the thing like it might explain itself. Vasectomies fail. That was my first rational reach. Rare, but not impossible, maybe. Then it hit me. We hadn't been intimate in nearly 2 months. Not since that argument. Over what? Some trivial thing that exploded into icy silence between us. A cold war of closed doors and separate sides of the bed. No makeup intimacy. No closeness. No chance. So if she was pregnant, and we hadn't touched each other in 2 months, and I was sterile, I heard her car pulling into the driveway. I quickly set the test back exactly where I found it, forcing my face into something that resembled normal. She walked in carrying grocery bags, her voice bright and casual. "Hey honey, you're home early." "Yeah," wrapped up the Morrison account. I watched her closely. Her smile, her eyes, the ease with which she moved around the kitchen, unpacking produce and chatting about dinner. Not a flicker of guilt, not a tremble in her voice, nothing. I waited. 3 days passed. 3 days of waiting for her to mention the test. 3 days of eating dinners and watching TV and tucking the kids into bed. Like nothing had changed. Like my world hadn't cracked wide open. On Friday night, when the kids were asleep and the house was still, I couldn't take it anymore. "Kinda," I said quietly, "we need to talk." She looked up from her book, serene as ever. "About what?" I found the pregnancy test. The color drained from her face in a single heartbeat. For a split second, panic flickered in her eyes. Then she pulled herself together. "Oh, that," she said, brushing hair behind her ear. "I was going to tell you, I think it might be a false positive. You know how unreliable those tests can be." "When did you take it?" "Tuesday morning. But like I said, it's probably wrong. I'll take another one soon, just to be sure." I nodded slowly, but her words felt rehearsed, too polished, too smooth. Something wasn't right. "Kinda, you know I had a vasectomy, right? 3 years ago, we decided that together." "Of course I know," she said, laughing nervously. "That's why I think the test is wrong." But she wouldn't meet my eyes when she said it. That weekend, I did something I never imagined I'd do. While she was in the shower, I went through her phone. I hated myself for it, hated the feeling of invading her privacy. But I was desperate for answers, for truth, for something to ground me. What I found chilled me to the bone. Text messages, dozens, from someone named Devin. It started innocently, work talk, meeting reminders, lunch plans. He was a new colleague at her marketing firm. But as I scrolled, the tone shifted. Fast. "Good morning, beautiful. Can't wait to see you tonight. Marcus is working late again. Being with you makes me feel alive. I think I'm falling for you." Tuesday's thread, the day I found the test, was the final nail. "Devin, did you tell him yet?" "Kinda. No, I need more time to figure this out. Devin, we can't keep hiding this, especially now. Kinda, I know. I need to be sure about what I want. The shower stopped. I backed out of the messages, put the phone exactly where it was, and walked downstairs. My mind in a fog, my heart a battlefield of betrayal and disbelief. She was pregnant with another man's child, and she hadn't told me because she was still deciding whether to leave, to confess, or to pass the baby off as mine and hope I wouldn't do the math. The next few days were excruciating. Watching her laugh with our kids, kiss me goodbye, then text her lover 10 minutes later. I started documenting everything, screenshots, message logs. I even hired a private investigator. Not for vengeance, but for clarity, for evidence, for the sake of what was inevitably coming. The PI's report was thorough. Photographs of Kinda and Devin at lunch, at a hotel, walking hand in hand, looking like a couple in love. I also scheduled an appointment with my urologist, just to be certain, to kill any doubt that maybe, just maybe, I'd gotten it wrong. The results came back, 0 sperm count. No doubt. 2 weeks after I found the test, I confronted her again. Kinda, I said, standing in the doorway of our bedroom. I know about Devin. She was folding laundry. The basket slipped from her hands, scattering clothes like pieces of our life across the carpet. What do you mean? I saw the messages. I know about the affair. I know the baby isn't mine. She sat down slowly on the bed, shoulders heavy. With the weight of truth, we sat in silence for what felt like forever. How long have you known? She asked, her voice small. 2 weeks. But the better question is, how long has this been going on? She closed her eyes. 6 months. It started as friendship. He was new. I was helping him settle in. But then, you and we'd been distant. You were always working. I felt invisible. Devin made me feel seen again. I wanted to scream. I wanted to tear down the walls, but I didn't. I just stood there, listening to the woman I loved explain how she burned our marriage to the ground. So what now? I don't know, she whispered. I'm confused. I love you, but I also have feelings for him. And now with the baby that isn't mine. She nodded. Tears ran down her cheeks. I'm so sorry. I never meant for this to happen. But it did happen. For 6 months, the divorce was finalized for months later. Kinda moved in with Devin. They're raising the baby together. I see my kids every other weekend now. The hardest part isn't the betrayal, though that wound runs deep. It's looking into my children's eyes and explaining why mommy and daddy don't live together anymore. It's watching them pack their tiny backpacks every Friday, knowing there's another man in that house, one who'll watch them play, eat dinner beside them, share a roof with their new half-sibling. But I'm rebuilding. I sold the house, too many memories stitched into the walls, found a smaller place, closer to the school. I started therapy. It helps, slowly, piece by piece. I'm learning how to trust again. The pregnancy test is gone now, but I still think about it sometimes. Those 2 tiny pink lines, how they silently detonated everything I thought I knew. How someone you've loved completely, devoted years of your life to, can become a stranger in a single breath. I don't hate Kinda. I probably should, but I don't. I hate what she did, but she's still the mother of my children. We have to co-parent. We have to be civil for them. I've never met Devin. Part of me wants to, just to see what she gave up our family for. But mostly, I try not to think about him at all. If you're going through something like this, I want you to know, you're not alone. The pain feels endless at first, but it gets better, slowly, but it does. And if you're in a relationship and starting to feel distant, talk to your partner, please. Don't seek comfort elsewhere until you've exhausted every ounce of honesty at home. Because once you cross that line, there is no way back. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Your support means more than you know.